And we're live. Welcome to the Rican show. And I'm here with Marissa of Push Past Paralysis. And we're here going to talk about an interesting couple of stories today, especially this one. I'm going to, let me let you introduce yourself, although I don't think you really need much of an introduction because
Not anymore.
you're, you're not a guest. You're
It's
a reoccurring
temporary,
co host.
yeah, temporary co-host. Marissa Molesky. I run Push Past Paralysis because I was born with spina bifida, paralyzed from the knee down since birth. Don't let it stop me. I think there's more paralysis with able-bodied people walking around every day in their life, in their mind, and that's just
Yeah.
me
So,
and how I live,
nice way to look at it. Emotionally paralyzed
or mentally.
or mentally. Yeah.
Not in the mentally ill type of way, but
No. Yeah.
in the you know
You know,
unable to process different
yeah.
different things in their mentality. Well,
No,
that's a different topic for a different
that's
day.
different. But yeah, let's get right into it because I'm just going to show this short. Well, I mean, they don't show a lot of it. They just show a little clip of it.
Hmm.
But let's let me put this screen share so I could put. Let's see. Here it goes. So I want people to see this because this was, and from what I understand, he actually won. He's running for re-election,
Hmm.
and they set up a debate between candidates, and nobody thought to put a ramp on the stage so this guy could get onto the debate stage, which was disgusting.
Not only that, but the people who booked it there didn't even, from what it sounds like, didn't even inquire if it was accessible. Because if you're gonna inquire of where you're gonna book a place, if that was me, and I knew that I would have to climb up on the stage, I would go somewhere else.
Oh my goodness, the jokes are starting. Someone,
Oh God.
Hogman put, "Is he running though?" It's
Oh my God. Here we go.
Uh, it's a good one. It's a good one.
That was good. That was good.
All right, let's play. Let's play
It's
the
probably
video.
faster than anybody else running, but
Yeah, I know, right? uh, that tweet in particular, it's kind of true. It's like it's not kind of true. It's true. There's so few disabled elected officials, and I think it has to do with television. I think because you look at it, JFK. I mean JFK. FDR was the only disabled president we had, and it
hmm.
was just about the time of TV, and even he, um, for when the cameras were rolling, he didn't, um, like he would hide his crutches or he would
Yeah, you
hide
try
the
to hide it.
wheelchair. Hmm. Oh, here goes another good one.
Uh-oh. What now?
But Biden is mentally disabled and he holds the highest office in the land.
You can do anything, disabled people.
Yes,
We could talk
yes.
about
If
Fetterman
Biden
too
can
if
do
you
it,
want.
oh my goodness. I I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm embarrassed that he won. I
He
mean,
didn't win. It was stolen for him, and I don't know why. Like, okay, can we
I'm gonna
just go
tell
off
you,
on a tangent? I need to go off on one tangent real quick.
yeah, but I'm gonna correct that one because I'm gonna tell you why he lost.
Of
Because
all people that you put in for the presidency and for a congressman. Them two, really? To screw things up, you pick them. You couldn't pick anybody better.
I'm going to tell you why he lost. I'm going to tell you why Oz lost. Oz lost, and I'm going to say it's kind of, I'm going to call it the Hillary effect, because you had a lot of people when Hillary ran for senator in New York. The reason why she ran for senator in New York, because she figured she's a Democrat, she could win easily. Okay, which she ended up doing. But I was a Democrat at the time, and I couldn't vote for her. And with Oz had the same problem. Like, you know, he wasn't really from Pennsylvania. So I know like a lot of people who didn't like Fetterman, but they didn't bring themselves to vote for Oz because they didn't like that he wasn't from Pennsylvania.
But that's my whole point is like Oz wasn't, I didn't like him.
No, I guarantee you the person I had liked Kathy Barnett.
Yeah.
And if she would have won the nomination, she would have destroyed Fetterman. It wouldn't have even been close.
I do believe that there's reasons we don't know about that maybe she shouldn't have won.
I don't think I know where you're going with it, but I can tell you, I'm just telling you, there's a lot.
I'm not standing up for Oz. I'm just saying.
No, I understand where you're going. No, I know you're going the 2,000 Mules route.
No.
When it comes to Oz.
No. When it comes to Fetterman, yeah. But what I'm saying is there were people who just refused to vote for Oz because he was a flawed candidate.
Yeah.
But I still don't think that enough people sitting out is enough to give Fetterman.
I think so, because I'm going to tell you tell you the difference. Living in Pennsylvania and driving around the state, I was scared of all the Fetterman signs I saw, as opposed to when Trump ran. I barely saw a Biden sign. Like I said, I don't know how the hell Biden won, Pennsylvania with, a little. Yeah, you and I both know, but with that being said, I saw a lot more Fetterman signs than I ever saw Biden signs.
Yeah.
And,
that's
that worry. Yeah, no, it's crazy to me that a guy that couldn't speak a complete sentence, both men.
Yeah, I was just going to say both.
Both men. I mean, George put here, most people in PA do not agree with the left. The cities here are full of people who rely on government handouts. Yeah.
That's a problem too.
You're not, I mean, that's a problem nationwide, not just in the cities. I mean, it's all cities for the most part.
Yeah. So,
but anyways, tangent.
Do you want to go back to the debate story?
Yeah, let's go back to the debate story.
That was a big deal. So.
No, go ahead. I know you wanted to rant about it, so I'll let you go off and,
Okay, well, to say I'm not surprised is an understatement. I'm not surprised. But it's disappointing. And like I said, it's not that hard to call ahead to a place that you're going to book and see if it's accessible or not. And even if it wasn't accessible, there's other things that, like at least for me, I'm not going to ever speak for the entire disabled community. I would never want to do what the left does and, burn a place down that wasn't accessible. I'm willing to, do things that aren't structure within the building to make a place accessible. So, a portable ramp, or there were men standing around. You tell me, supposedly his chair, because it was motorized, is 400 pounds. But you mean to tell me some of those guys couldn't have all lifted him?
Yeah,
but you made a quadriplegic. He's paralyzed from the chest down. Yeah, okay, he could still work out, so maybe he's strong in his arms. But you need your core to pull you up. And they made him, and then for a man, I'm not a man, I don't identify as a man, so I don't know. That has to be 10 times more humiliating than for a woman. I wouldn't care. If it's something I really want to do, I'll make sacrifices, and I would probably climb up a stage if I had to do something I really wanted to do.
I would throw you over my shoulder. It's okay.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I would make a stink of somebody help me. But a man might have pride. There might have been reasons, for him not to ask, or he might have been just shell shocked that this was even happening, that he just, got up. Me, I'd open my big mouth and I'd ask for help. And then I'd rant about the place not being accessible and who the hell booked it. And I would make a scene, especially knowing there was going to be cameras there.
Yeah.
He should have ranted right then and there about everything not being accessible. Missed opportunity.
No, I agree. It's like for me, like with my son, and one of the things I always bitch about in these big venues is they don't have a place to change them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they expect you to change them on a dirty floor.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I'm not going to put my son on a filthy floor to change his diaper. That's that it's like the one place I've been to where they said they had it was City Field.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from my understanding was because you're a Met fan too. You remember John Olerud?
Yes.
So John Olerud sponsored the bathrooms to be created for people with special needs to be able to change their diapers. So they have lift tables that hold people up to like 500 pounds or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get to
another
see
reason to be a Mets fan, but
another reason to be a Mets fan. There you go. Marissa never makes a scene.
Okay, I'm glad you have that in writing. Print it out for me, please. I need that as evidence.
But it's unfortunate that they would do this. I mean, like he said, it probably will affect his re-election campaign, and it was probably done on purpose.
Mm-hmm. If anything, and I hate pity.
Uh-huh.
But the left rallies around one person like nobody's business. I think he actually is a Democrat. So if we're going to get political, they should be left or right should stand behind this man.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, look at his credentials. If he's worth it, you better fight for him. And don't let the disability get in his way. If you feel that he doesn't deserve it on his own merits of being actually qualified, that's another story. Then don't vote for him. I wouldn't say vote for somebody based on their skin color, their disability, their gender, whatever. None of that. But don't let it be an obstacle for you not to vote for him.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say here, I hate that this is a problem. Because I think we've had this conversation on the channel before too, where he goes, I would have been afraid to help because he would have been offended. And we've had this conversation before. And I said, and you said sometimes, you might be offended if someone tries to offer you help. And in some cases, like there's a young man at the gym who has CP.
Yeah, you were telling me about him.
And I've told him, I said, look, if you ever want a spot, because I'm not going to assume he can't do it because, I mean, the guy's in tremendous shape.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him, you want to push yourself, you want a spot. I said, don't be afraid to ask me. I'll always do it for you. And
I mean, at the very least, in a situation like that, I mean, there is no harm in asking. If there's two options, you're either going to jump in front of me and help me without asking me, or you're going to ask me and then I could say yes or no. Ask.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in that type of situation, I would have, even me in a wheelchair myself, done anything I could to help him and been like, listen, I know this is public right now. I would have gotten as close as I could, said it as quiet as I could. Listen, I know this is public right now. I don't want to humiliate you further by asking you if you need help, but I don't want to see you struggle. Nobody in this room should be seeing you struggle right now. Can we help you? Please. I get it because I could feel it. I could feel how funny he must feel just hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a no-win situation for him because he must have felt just as funny having to do that. I don't know.
And the whole thing about it is he couldn't have boycotted it because he couldn't have boycotted because it would have hurt his cause anyway. Yeah,
Well,
someone put here. I can't post it on because it's a Rumble comment. Harley
mhm.
Chick put uh
Hi. That's Hogman's wife, by the way.
huh?
His That's Hogman's wife. His
Oh,
better
okay.
half. His better half.
His better half. She put Fetterman's lump voted for Oz. I don't get what she
The lump on Fetterman's
Fetterman's
neck.
lump. Oh, damn!
Probably.
Wow. Everyone sat and watched him struggle.
Mm-hmm.
That is sad. It's
Yeah.
sad that you see people around him. Not one person, at least in that clip, came to him and said, "Hey, you want some help?"
And I'm not shaming able-bodied people here. I know they like if you're saying, that you wouldn't know whether or not to ask and offend somebody. I'm sure a lot of them were going through that, but somebody had to have.
I would
I don't
say
know,
it's better that you offend them.
for their safety at
Yeah,
that point.
exactly. I think it's better that you risk offense
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a little bit embarrassment if they feel offended.
Mm-hmm.
It's better you risk that than wonder if because I would feel shame if I could have helped him and I didn't
Yeah.
offer it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather feel the embarrassment of saying no, I don't need your help and want to do it myself than
Yeah.
that's on you. I offer you help. You want to come out, because there are some, I have a disabled cousin. And he's nasty. He is nasty.
I used to be like that. I used to hate when people asked me if I needed help, and I used to kind of like be a little nasty about it.
Oh no, but he's just a nasty person. Period. It doesn't
Oh,
even.
okay.
It's not only
I
about.
try not to be.
It's not only about helping. He's just an asshole. It's like, it's like, how do I explain it? It's
So
like
since
one of those.
Hogman's
I
in
hate
here,
the
that you
world. I hate
you
the
might see
world.
Craig in here, and he might call
Uh,
me an asshole, but ignore him.
that's a cop out. That's a cop out excuse. Harley
What's it?
wrote. Always offer help.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would have helped even if I was canceled. That's what George put.
Right.
And that's good. Like I say, um, I'd rather get chewed out for offering help than not having offered help at all.
Yeah.
And
And if all I could do was sit there and record what these people were making him do
mhm.
and give my own commentary, because I would never just sit there and record the man, because like I said, it's humiliating. I would, if it was me, I'd have my camera out and I would be ranting about the inaccessibility as I'm recording.
Oh, but
And
you know
then
what?
I would turn to everybody who wasn't helping and be like, yeah, look at this. Look at this.
You know what? I would also go, what about the candidates? You know, where is your sportsmanship, so to speak, and going, you know what? Hey, let me help you. Or if not, you know what? If I was one of the candidates, if it was me and it wasn't one of the other candidates, I would be like, you know what? Look, listen, we got to redo this debate another time. We got to find a venue where this guy could participate.
No. See, and this is where I get hung up, because nobody was surprised. Like, you can't tell me not one person knew ahead of time that this place was not accessible and could have made us think beforehand. These
I
places have to be
agree.
paid for and booked ahead of time.
I agree.
Somebody internally on either campaign could have been like, listen, you do realize that either our candidate or the other candidate, depending on which team said it, is in a wheelchair and this place is not accessible. We have to pick a different place, or we have to see if the place can make it temporarily accessible with a ramp or with
Yeah.
a lift or something for this occasion alone. I mean, the debate, hosting a debate based on how much politicians waste our money, probably costs a lot of money to begin with. They could blow a few more thousand to like
Now,
get something.
I want to play devil's advocate here. What about the candidate?
Which
What
one?
about the candidate?
The one that was accessible. I mean, the disabled one.
The disabled one. Shouldn't he also have found out?
Yeah.
That
would have been my first.
Here's my devil's advocate. What if he did this for the play, for the clicks?
He might have.
You didn't think of? I just thought about that now.
I mean, people do that shit, and
I know.
If I find out that he did this to gain clout, and okay, because
the
I
left. You
haven't
said if he's a
seen.
Democrat,
Yeah, I think
they love to play the victim.
Yeah. Okay. And see, the thing is so far I haven't seen him fight for overall accessibility, which in this situation would have been the right thing to do. So if he did, first of all, do this for the clout and for the attention and the pity, and didn't follow it with let's just take it. I take my slogans from Trump. I just make it into a Trump. Make America accessible or whatever. Yeah. If you're not going to take that situation and turn it into something positive like that, and you're just going to let it, you're going to ride the coattails of the media with this for yourself, shame on you. He should be figuratively standing on the platform that he has now and fighting for actual accessibility.
I agree.
Instead of just complaining about this one situation, because he obviously has money to run. He's running for Senate. He ran for Senate,
Council.
right?
No, he's councilman.
Councilman. Okay, so lower offices don't require as much capital behind you to run, but you have a platform. You're in.
Especially now. Now.
He's running for re-election.
He went rival. That this happened. It hit the news. Now is the time to go. This situation shouldn't have happened because all these stadiums, arenas, they should have accessibility to the stage for handicapped people.
Yeah. And it's in the Americans with Disabilities Act that nobody ever. There's two main documents in this country that are ignored the most. The U.S. Constitution is not read enough, and the Americans with Disabilities Act is not enforced enough. Ignored constantly.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I remember where was I? I was in a building, and it was like a home health agency. We were looking for our son, and it was like a 2-story walk up, and they didn't have an elevator. And it's like, you're a home healthcare agency. You take care of people with special needs. You should have an elevator. Or you should be in a building with an elevator, or be on the first floor.
You would think. These places don't think.
Your friend Harley got Harley's YouTube fix. She'll be talking over from here.
Taking over from here.
She'll be taking over from here. George put, public access to disabled people have not been revisited since wheelchair ramps, while trillions go to other things, are most vulnerable, and some of the most educated are left out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's,
the forgotten men and women are the disabled, because many of them can't speak out for themselves. Many of them won't speak up for themselves because they don't want to ruffle feathers, because a lot of them are so convinced with the whole us versus them thing that able-bodied people rule the world, so they have to, they're afraid to speak up against. Mm-hmm. No, let's do it together. Let's not shame the able-bodied people, but if you're going to ask for help for anything, ask them to stand with you and make things accessible. We're not asking to change feelings or to cater to feelings or, change terminology. There's some terminology that some people want to change, but I don't really care. Call me disabled, call me handicapped, call me.
It's semantics.
Whatever.
It's
I don't care about that. But when it comes to a physical structure, a physical barrier preventing any human being from entering a place, that I have a problem with. Unless you're being an asshole outside the place and you don't deserve to be in there anyway, wheelchair or not, then stay out. But anything preventing you from being in there, not okay with.
No, that's, it's frustrating. I know, because, there's things like I can't do with my son. Like, I understand it, from a personal level, not because of me, but because of my son. Like, all the stuff I have to deal with when it comes to, like, let's say, for example, I want to put him on a water slide. They're like, oh, you can't. He can't have a life vest on. He can't swim. So how the hell am I going to take the life? Well, we have a lifeguard at the bottom.
Wait, why can't he have a life vest on?
Because sometimes because they say that the life vest could get hooked on the water slide, and I'm just like, and then they'll be like, well, the lifeguard will catch him at the bottom of the pool when he gets to the bottom of the slide, and I'm like,
oh, we'll
the
just
hell you're
take
not
that gamble.
I said, you know what? What I usually do is, you know what? I'll go down, and then, maybe my wife is there, and she'll push him down, and I'll catch him because I don't trust nobody to care about catching my son as much as I will.
Yeah, and that wasn't going to be my next point. Is you're well trained for it, but I think that actually hurts you in the long run in certain situations, because I find, like, once I started flying on my own. Because I always used to fly, if we went on a family vacation or we went to go visit family, in another state, there was somebody always with me because it was just a family thing. It wasn't, necessarily because I needed the help. But then I started to go on vacations myself, like even if I'm meeting somebody there and staying with somebody or whatever, I would do the flying myself. And I'm not saying this for everybody because I am capable. So for people who really do need the help, I wouldn't go this far to test it out. But I do find, for me, I'm offered more help when I'm alone because people automatically assume whoever I'm with has it, is my aide, and is trained. It doesn't necessarily click that it's, like my relative or my friend or whatever who isn't responsible necessarily for me. They might know what they're doing, but you could still, like, if you're a flight attendant that's walking around or you're security or whatever, you can offer, if you see us juggling all the bags and they're trying to wheel me while I'm holding something, or I'm trying to wheel while they're holding all the bags, you can offer a hand.
Yeah.
Instead of, no, they just assume that the person is this big hero that has it. But if I'm by myself, it's like I'm a damsel in distress. They can't try to help me enough. I'm like, no, I got it. I could hook the bag back here. I got it. If I'm struggling a little bit, I'll let you know. But
now, what do you have any issues like when you go on the plane and let's say like with the wheelchair? Like have you ever had a situation where like the airlines doesn't have like a wheelchair to get you into your seat?
Sometimes they have to wait for it, but they always have it. Don't jinx me because I am going away twice coming up. Don't even ask me in this interview about if they break or misplace anything, because the answer right now is no. But I don't want to jinx that. So I have never had that problem.
I'm talking about like they have wheelchairs that fit on the aisles.
Yeah, they do that. They always bring me the aisle chair. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was curious about because
sometimes I have to wait for it, but they always have it.
Okay, that's the reason I'm asking is because I'm also planning a trip at the end of the year to go to Puerto Rico. So obviously I have to fly. Normally I do road trips. So
I tend to fly the same airline.
Okay.
I've heard nightmares about some airlines.
Okay.
So do your research.
Okay.
And yeah.
Are you afraid to say which airlines you use? Because you're like you use a certain.
I'll go American. And I've never had a problem with them. The ones I've heard are not great is Spirit, and there's another one, like a not really well known. I've heard good things about JetBlue.
That's the one we're most likely going to use because
I've heard good things about JetBlue. I've heard good and bad about Southwest.
Okay.
I always heard good, but then I started to hear bad.
Yeah.
And then mix it in with the fact that
has the most flights to Puerto Rico for some reason.
Yeah, and then mix it in with the fact that as just a normal average American, forget about the disability. Mm-hmm. It's like who's going to try to bring the back next? So you just got to be careful in all aspects. I don't
know. Let's go. Spirit is terrible. That's what Harley put. Yes,
I won't fly
Spirit. I won't do Spirit. I won't do Spirit anymore. I did it. I did it for we booked my wife on Spirit for an emergency, and it was a nightmare because like she had a
Hmm.
death in the family, and she had to fly, and it was horrible.
Yeah, I
Uh,
won't.
yeah, I won't do Spirit
I
again.
mean, okay, so if it was like I had my heart set on this trip and something last minute happened, but I had my heart set on this trip, I would pray to God that it worked out and I would take it. Because especially if it was like Florida or something, I would take it. But I would hate it. And it would never be my first or 10th choice. But if I had to, I had to. But I would not like it. And I would probably have my camera ready just in case something happened.
So you're going where? Arizona and Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Arizona March 17th, and then from there going to Florida.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
Is it your scouting trip?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I still want everything to go down for a little
Okay.
bit first. It's still a little too high for me right now.
Hmm.
But if I
Well,
fall in love with the area, I fall in love with the area. We'll see.
yeah. The only problem with like, you talk about places that people are moving to, and as while that's going
Yeah,
on, the prices are not going to drop.
sky high. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I,
see, but that's what I'm waiting for. I thought my first thought when I started to hear that Florida was like booming and everything was
mhm,
going up
mhm.
was okay. It's getting a little too red for some people. I'm waiting for
Mhm.
some of the Democrats to leave. But apparently the sun is too good down there and the ocean is too good down there that nobody's freaking leaving.
No,
Like nobody's getting tired of
no, they're not. I
the
mean,
red. I
um,
wish they would though, because I could go with making it even more red down there and getting rid of some of the Democrats, getting rid of some of the high prices, and then going down there. But
yeah, but when it's so successfully run, you're
mm-hmm,
gonna have people fly. Like I was looking at houses down there because I have a 5-year plan. Now,
mm-hmm,
once my son graduates high school, we're thinking about because like where we're at right now, there's no real services for him and no
mm-hmm,
real programs for him. So I
yeah,
want to move somewhere where there's better programs and opportunity for him,
yeah,
um, as opposed to being out where we live now. But I
yeah.
was looking at some of like the prices of houses, and it's crazy. Like it was like new construction, everything wasn't new. I was like, holy
But that's what drives me crazy. Like I would never move to, for me personally, for my preferences outside of my disability, I would never move to a cold climate. But I feel like all 50 states should have the same level or similar level of accessibility. You shouldn't have a list of 10 of America's best cities
Well, I think
for people with disabilities. Like,
I, I I
I
think the
think that's
reason why
stupid.
you have that is you got to look at it. Sometimes it's the infrastructure.
Hmm.
When you have these
And that
older
never gets.
cities, you have these older like let's say look at New York. Their
Hmm.
subway system's over 100 years old. Of course, you're gonna have some subways that you're never gonna have access to because I mean
Not
it's
only
so
that, but
difficult
the
to get
older
access.
buildings you can't
Hmm.
make accessible.
No, that's the
So,
problem. That's why you have like these newer cities, newer
but
towns
yet
and
New
all that
York
stuff.
is always on the list, which is crazy to me.
Well, because they always put because the bus system and for the most
Yeah,
part the
but you're
train
going to use
system.
an accessible bus to get to a part of the city that's potentially not accessible. Like,
Yeah, no,
it's
it's
weird.
so. George here has a question. He goes, "Any advice to give a young person dealing with a disability to function in this society when no one pays attention?"
To function when nobody pays attention.
Hmm. But
In what
just
way though? Like in what? Because I mean, my overall answer to that would just be live your life as if you don't have a disability, and then don't treat asking for help if you need it as this big thing because everybody needs help in some way. So if you
hmm
have, like, for me, maybe because I'm a woman, I have no problem. Like if I'm in a rush,
hmm
screaming to somebody who I know already has the door, hold the door so that I can not miss my train
And
or
maybe also because
whatever.
you're female, people are more likely to help you out than
Yeah,
if you were male.
yeah, and that could be it. But function. Do you mean like
I would. It
because I
sounds
could take
sounds
that
like to
also.
me.
I
I was
could
gonna
take that
say.
also as like he needs to like get out more and but there's no
Oh, here
services
it
to
goes. He
help him.
goes. When government doesn't give them the attention they need.
Okay. I do think that the $200 billion that we're supposed to be allocated for services and for individuals with disabilities is misappropriated to probably Ukraine at this point because we're not seeing it.
Well,
But you
even that
have to
$200 billion, how much of it goes to the bureaucracy
exactly no,
as
and then
opposed
there's
to being used for actual projects?
there's 200 billion annually that's supposed to be allocated, and I think we have 50s, like high 50s, maybe into the 60s now. Um, individuals with various disabilities in America. If
Yeah,
allocated properly,
yeah,
we would be doing a lot better, but we're
of course.
statistically the
Yeah.
world's poorest because we're not taken care of. So I
Mhm.
agree with you, but you have to operate also under the impression of I don't know how old you are. What was it, George?
George,
I don't know how old you are, but
George is
has the
George
government
George is
ever
George is a little older than I am.
okay, so has the government ever actually helped you? Is what I'm going to ask. I don't know how long you've been disabled, if it's been your whole life.
Oh no, no, he's not. I think
Has
he just was asking it as a
Oh, okay.
hypothetical.
Well, okay, so any adult can ask
Yeah.
themselves, has the government helped you adequately so far? The answer is going to be a resounding no. So you have to do what we have to do because our government sucks for everybody right now. Even if they don't admit it and they're leftist, the government is sucking for everybody right now. We have to rely on each other. So you have to rely on your fellow American to help you when you need help with whatever you need help with. And we have to stop relying on the government because the second we don't need them and they know we don't need them, we win. That's how you win. Is you don't need the
Uh,
government.
I have a couple of comments here. It goes
Okay.
when Harley put when our office moved to a new location, our suite was not wheelchair accessible, and they knew we had a co-worker who was disabled.
Did they make
Hogman,
it did they make it accessible and how long did it take?
yeah, I was told there would be news.
You missed the news in the beginning. We talked about the councilman
The
who
councilman.
had the debate.
You want news? Okay, here. Let's go to this other story that
Okay.
that you because that one pissed me off too because
Okay.
you tweeted it and I put a nasty comment.
Yeah.
Hold up. Let's see. No. It's okay. Come on. No, that's better. There you go. It goes here. Massachusetts Democrat told to step down after abortion comments leave parents irate. Now, here's the comment this asshole
I was
said.
gonna say, scroll down to the comment, please.
Yes. Uh, where is it? He goes. Now, I want to get the exact quote. I'm here looking. Where is it? Our fears that if okay, he goes, our fear is that if an unqualified sonographer misdiagnoses a heart defect, an organ defect, spina bifida, or an encephalopathic defect, that becomes a very local issue because our school budget will have to absorb the cost of a child in special education, supplying lots and lots of special services to children who were born with a defect.
Can I comment yet?
Go ahead, comment.
Okay. So if the Democrats get what they want, you're going to be able to abort grown adults. Hi, I'm 36 years old and I have spina bifida. You're going to abort me next?
Well,
There you go. It was right there. Spina bifida. Like, there's nothing
yeah,
wrong with us. This is like, yeah,
yeah.
okay, I get it. I don't have as severe of a case as some of them are, and
Mhm.
I also don't get worse. Like, spina bifida is not really a case unless you walked more than me and you have more wear and tear on your body because of that, because you shift. Me, knock on wood, if I keep taking care of myself, it's not a debilitating disease where you get worse over time.
Yeah,
So
I
why is spina bifida always at the forefront of these things where they want to either take services or offer an abortion?
well, it's like also with Down syndrome. It's like Down syndrome. Yeah, they have special needs, but they're some of the nicest people in the world.
Finland, I think, doesn't have any Down syndrome people because they always abort them.
Yeah, yeah. It's sad, and it's what was it? Was it California that
Probably.
California? I believe it was California that there was someone who some state senator or whatever wanted passed like or wanted to write legislation allowing abortion, and I'm going to put that in quotation marks, abortion up to 21 days post birth.
That's like saying, okay, you're gonna have the mother give birth to a baby in distress and then not help them after, like, they to assess the situation. Like, none of that. There is no, in my opinion, no question that every fetus is viable. Every life matters, and we are too advanced, in my opinion, for any life to be lost at this point. Whether that's a baby that has complications or whether that's a cancer patient in their 80s at this point who you're holding the cure from. There's cures for everything in this country, and it's the politicians and the money that is preventing it from being so. So instead, they're parading things like this and population control and all of that crap when they could be
That's what it
actually saving lives.
Well, that's what it all boils down to. You look at the whole um look at everything that's going on right now. Um you have this abortion debate. You have the trans debate. You have all these different what's going on with the trans debate? What's going on with these either they want to abort the children or they want to, chemically castrate the children. Because this the
And
whole
then
thing.
make them have struggles with their mental health later on in life.
Well, not only that, but you're talking about you creating a forever patient
Yeah,
because
because
all
they're
these trans kids they're gonna be patients
needing
for life.
hormones for the rest of their life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So it's that's what's that's what pisses me off. Like I saw this, I sent you this article. I wanted to since I brought that up. Let me. Oh, great. I saw this and I found that disturbing because I'm like, sometimes you have to see what's going on overseas. Like people, you got to see what's going on around the world and make sure this shit doesn't come here. Because
Because it's
like the hate
coming.
speech laws, like hate speech laws, you know, that's ridiculous.
That's just ripping free speech up because everything's going
Yeah,
to fall under hate speech because
yeah,
somebody don't
that's
like
the whole
every.
thing.
There's going
Yeah,
to be at least one person who doesn't like something. So
yeah. Well, it's subjective. There's no come on, go on. It's subjective. I mean, check this out. Chaplin reported as terrorist for questioning LGBTQ activists,
LMNOP. Yeah.
QRS,
Mm-hmm.
TUV. It goes here. Reverend Dr. Bernard Randall described the ruling as a blow for free speech and Christian freedoms. Now, here's the thing. There was something that I remember Jordan Peterson had said something about the freedom to what is it, to offend.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
you need
okay
the
if you're
freedom.
offended. Be offended.
You need the freedom to offend if you want to have free thought.
Yeah.
And if you want to have free speech, basically like that, because like the lady asked him a question, and she was like, "Well, he's like, I'm offended by your question. But you had no problem offending me with your question. Why are you offended by what I'm asking?
Hmm.
Harley put alphabet soup,
Pretty much.
pretty much. And she also put, and the same people that are anti-gun because guns kill kids.
Hmm.
Yep. Kill or groom. Wow, people are on fire today. And then
Hmm.
Hogman, yep, he put everything I say is hate speech. That's the
Yeah, and
way it
that's why
feels
we're
right now.
friends. That's why we're friends.
George put, why is it okay to hate God, but not okay to love him?
Good question.
Because I'll take a stab at this, George, because, and I had this conversation on Sunday with between my wife and a friend, one of my old friends from Texas. Um, why is that going on right now? Is because people have love of self and they don't want the truth. Truth, um, the truth. There's no such thing as my truth. There's your opinion and the truth. It doesn't matter. I don't care what faith you are. But you can't let compassion, because here's the problem. They use love as a weapon, and then they want to use the love as a weapon to go, okay, well, since God is love, then it's okay that you know it's okay, I should be able to have three wives or three husbands. I should be able to do this, I should be able to do that because God is love. And it's like, yeah, no, you're misunderstanding. As a parent, we love our children, love them to death. But that doesn't mean if my child wants to jump off the roof, I'm going to let them jump off the roof.
Yeah. That's been my whole thing is your kid you're gonna tell your kid no, they can't be like a unicorn.
Yeah.
But if they want to be the opposite gender, you're taking them to the doctor and letting them do whatever they want to do. Like I think
Yeah.
that's sick.
Creative minds, but co-worker is 25, pregnant with second child now. First pregnancy, no complication. Second pregnancy is doing great. Doctor recommended a gene test to look for any defects so she can abort. No history of defects. Just because she just
And that's what
because she has shown she has morning symptoms.
but that's what they do is they test so that they can try to convince you to abort because no doctors for any reason if you notice even as adults
Hmm.
they don't ever really tell you best case scenario. They have to warn you about the worst case scenario, and then
Well,
when
we
you're
know that.
when you're emotional, like even if it wasn't for the hormones, like bringing a life into the world is an emotional, big,
Yeah.
heavy
Well,
thing. Like
when my son was in the NICU, they asked us to pull the plug, and he's going to be 16 this year.
why did what is it about the disabled community that makes it so easy for them to do this?
That's what they were like. He has a 95% chance of being blind, 95%, of being blind, deaf, won't walk, and so every time he's done something, we check it off the list.
Exactly, and
This is
I'm
what
sure he's
George
done a
put.
lot.
Abortions equal. Abortion is profit.
It is. They have to reach a quota. Otherwise, they
Yeah,
don't get their bonuses. That should be evident with the jabs.
yeah.
Take what they do with the jabs and apply that to literally everything: surgeries, disabilities, abortions, all of it. They have to reach a quota or they don't get their bonuses.
Yeah. That's And it's funny that you say that because there was the last story I had brought up because I saw that and I thought because we had this conversation not too long ago about the whole thing with assisted suicide in Canada.
Hmm.
And I saw this story and I was like, oh, I got to bring this story up because
Yeah.
this shit pissed us off.
Hmm.
Uh, this shit pissed us off last time. And it's like, here's Canada going at it again.
They're not going to give up.
And, you know, it's a culture of death. That's the whole thing. It's like, you look at this here. Canada considers expanding its assisted suicide law to minors and to include minors even without parental consent.
Not only does the government want your kids to be their property, which is what this all boils down to.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say about this the same thing that I would say about like the clean injection sites for addicts. Why don't you take those resources that you're allocating to these new facilities and put it towards actually getting these people clean? So instead of assisted suicide, why don't you look at the mental health of the disabled, which is not healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and actually help them with their mental health and actually help them realize that they have a purpose and they can have a full life instead of letting them be so much more miserable that they want to commit suicide.
Well, here's the whole thing. It's cheaper for the government, especially remember Canada,
Yeah.
for people who want government run healthcare in America. This is government run care in Canada, okay, and they're thinking about cost savings, and it's cheaper for them to go, hey, here's medically assisted suicide as opposed to treating your mental illness, throughout your lifetime.
I have a friend named Josh. He's called Dirty Truth on Twitter. Hogman and Harley know him. He is a quadriplegic who lives in a nursing home. He has 2 jobs.
Wow.
The best thing that we could do is not give ourselves excuses. And the worst thing that ever happens to us, because before I was 18, I was not on anything assisted. Like nothing, I wasn't getting government money. The worst thing that could ever happen to us is we get government money because it's hell to get off. They penalize you for everything to try to get off of it because they want to keep you dependent. The best thing that you can do if you have a young person in your household right now who is disabled is to teach them that every life has a purpose and that they do not need the government. Because if they don't need the government, they're not going to be a burden on the government, and then there's going to be hopefully a less chance of the government wanting to kill them.
Oh yeah. I remember it was a joke when my son was born, we were getting $30 from the federal government of assistance and $5 from New York State because
you might as well have not gotten anything. That's an insult.
That was a slap in the face. It was like for a guy who was at the time a records clerk at a law firm, maybe making tops $35,000 a year.
And I never knew about what the government allocated to people with disabilities until recently. So imagine knowing what you were getting all those years and then finding out what is allocated years later.
Yeah.
That's even more of a slap in the face.
Oh, yeah. And
where's it going? Ukraine.
And yeah, I said, here's the worst part. You can't save money.
Nope.
They don't let you save money. Depending on the amount of people in your household, you can either have at most $2,000 in the bank, and depending on dependents in the house, so like there's 4 of us, so the most if we were collecting government money would be we could only have $5,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
So you can't have a rainy day fund.
Especially that's the sickest part is if there was, God forbid, a medical emergency that wasn't fully covered, or that other arrangements had to be made somewhere else in life that would cost money because of this medical emergency with him, you guys would be screwed.
Wait, I got to put this one, George put, which is funny because it's my Twitter comment. We could abort innocent babies, but not corrupt politics, human nature. And funny, George, that you said that because when Marissa tweeted the story, I said, "Can we should abort the politician.
I don't think I retweeted it because I was like, I'm gonna get nuked if I retweet that.
Oh, you did it. You retweeted it.
Did I? Did
Yes,
I
you
retweet
did.
it? Oh,
You
okay.
retweeted it with 100%.
I might have hesitated for a second, but then I was like, probably screw it. But I don't. Yeah, because I remember hesitating. I was like,
yeah. I was harsh with that. I'm not gonna. I'm not even gonna. Because that shit pissed me off. Having, like I said, the whole thing with my, having my son, and like I said, when they wanted us to pull the plug and all that stuff, that shit that pissed me off. I remember telling them, I said, look, my son had never had an incident of he was like in cardiac arrest or anything like that. And I told the doctors, I said, look, my son's fighting for his life. I'm not going to give up. As long as he's fighting, I'm going to fight for him.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, he should have been aborted. His stupidity is hurting the world. Abort babies because it's a strain on school budget, but allow open borders because those kids aren't a strain on school budgets. Leftist logic.
Exactly. If the left looks at what they allow with other countries, that's why we're broke as a country, because we give all our money to them and then we take care of all their people that we take in.
Well, it's funny that you say the whole thing about, the government wants us dependent. But that's what the U.S. does to these other countries. Mm-hmm. We give them the money, from our pockets because we want them dependent on us. That's why when people talk about like universal health care, they'll usually bring up like countries like Canada. They'll bring up the Scandinavian countries. Who protects those countries? We do.
Yeah, we protect
the Scandinavian countries could not afford their universal health care if it wasn't for the protection of the United States. Period.
We give the largest chunk of everything that other countries are supposed to be contributing to. We foot the bill for all of it.
NATO,
none of them
UN,
give their fair share. None of them give
WHO.
their fair share.
No. Mm-hmm. And then, they criticize Trump for wanting NATO to pay their fair share.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay to steal from the rich because you think you're giving it to the poor when you're just giving it to the government.
Yep. And that's why they try to get you in your feelings about it, because they don't want you to go against policy and know what they're actually really doing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my main reason why I tell the left to get out of their feelings, and even some on the right. There's some bleeding hearts on the right too. No, actually realize what they're doing behind your back when they're trying to make you cry over these sad situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do we change these financial policies? Any ideas?
By actually having a president who's going to stand up like he did and say that countries have to pay their fair share, and then get rid. Statistically on the right, because I've been watching debates since like 9/11. It's always been a policy that they run on and never do, but it's a policy that's run on to get rid of waste spending. As far as I'm concerned, everything but America First is waste spending until America is taken care of. Then you can do your extra and take care of the world. It's like trying to do a budget as a family. You don't do your vacation budget before you do your food and your bills, and then you have your play money. So, okay, take care of home first, and then we can worry about who else we can take care of. And then there's stupid things. I don't even want to know how much waste is now with all the woke programs and stuff going on now in our own country. Like, there's probably wasteful spending like crazy. And then the amount of like jets and maids and vacations that the politicians take on our dime.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. I look at my phone. I just got notification that my kid's school is closed tomorrow because of snow.
Oh, okay. Don't send it here, please.
Huh?
Don't send it here, please. I don't want snow.
You're in Long Island. You're surrounded by water. So
no,
you're more likely not to.
You said it wrong. Have you
What?
ever heard of the comedian Anthony Rodia? I gotta
Um,
send you videos of him. He just did a video. Somebody asked him,
yeah.
and he said the correct way to say it, and somebody goes, "Why do you say it like that?" So
On Long Island.
what he said was on Long Island, and he goes, "But you live in the place Long Island. Why do you say in? Because you can't go in an island. You're on an island. Like you're physically like on the island." So people don't get it, but yeah, it's on Long Island,
Yeah.
and
So
it's on like Staten Island, but it's not on Brooklyn. Like you're in Brooklyn.
yeah.
But anyways,
Tomato,
tangent.
tomato, tomato.
No, it's on Long Island.
But either way, it's usually too warm over there to get snow
Yeah,
that
we've
bad.
been somewhat lucky. So I'm gonna be away for over 2 weeks. I think between Arizona and Florida. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna be well over 2 weeks. It could snow as much as it wants in between there. I don't care. I'm not gonna be here. If that's when we get snow, I'll be happy. And then it's not allowed to snow if I come back because I might not want to.
You know what? We're gonna leave it there because I want to talk to you offline about
Okay.
something. I
Okay.
think it's a good place to end. Um, well, just in case, where can people follow you so they can you know get your great wisdom on stuff?
You can go to my YouTube channel, Push Past Paralysis. You can also find it under youtube.com/Marissa11586. I do have a link tree. It's it's linktr.ee. I think that's how they do it.
Mhm.
Push Past Paralysis. I have pushpastparalysis.org. My Twitter is Marissa11586. That's where I do a lot of my political shit posting. My Instagram is a lot of my workouts. It's Push Past Paralysis.
Yes, and if
And
you're
that's pretty
fat and
much it.
lazy, don't
Yeah,
she'll shame you to work out.
yeah.
It's
Please go to my Instagram. I have a TikTok too, but I know a lot of conservatives don't like that. But it's push
oh, that's
past
what I got.
paralysis.
Yeah, that's what I got to talk to you about because my wife wanted me to talk to you about a video she saw of yours on TikTok.
Okay. Uh,
I don't want to embarrass you online.
okay.
All right. Well, thank you everyone that commented in the chat section. Thank you for my OG follower there, George. George has been my most consistent follower. I've like probably since I first started the channel.
Nice.
Hmm and thank you, Harley. Thank you, was
Hogman.
Jessica. Thank you for taking the time to do this and for this conversation. So Jessica Hornick.
You're welcome.
So thank you guys, and hope give a like and subscribe if you haven't. So like that, when I do these videos, you could get them. We don't always have to share them on social media. They'll come up on your feed. So
If social media decides to send you the notification, so we still probably will post, but
we'll
subscribe
still
anyway.
post just in case.
Subscribe
But
anyway,
yes,
and do the
and
notification bell.
yes, exactly. All right. Well, have a great one, everyone, and till next time. I'm working on a guest for next week. I want to try to do a foreign policy show, but if it's not this
Nice.
week, it'll be next week. It'll be the following week, hopefully, but hopefully next week. I gotta wait and hear back. So,
Okay.
that being said, have a good one.